Hi, I'm Nate Robinson, and I'm in the Boot Club.
Pay It Forward Sports presents the biggest and best golf event of the summer.
Hey, Belleville, Wendell Clark here. Looking forward to July 8th, little golf.
Hey, Belleville, Doug Gilmore here. Yes, I used to play with the Belleville Bulls. Join me playing golf Saturday, July 8th.
The 2023 Celebrity Golf Classic at Trillium Wood Golf Club on July 8th. Headliners include Wendell Clark, Doug Gilmore, and Rick Vive, along with many of NHL and pro athletes. Every foursome gets to golf with their own celebrity. Top 5 groups pick their golfers. Each golfer will also get a chance to win one of the top 10 prizes, including a trip to Mexico, Dominican Republic, and Las Vegas. Be sure to enter your foursome and enjoy the experience of a lifetime, playing with your favorite sports celebrities and enjoying our amazing after party with dinner, hockey talk, and entertainment. Part of the proceeds go to help underprivileged kids play sports in the Quincy community. Sign up today. PayItForwardSports.ca.
Hey, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Battle of Ontario Hockey Podcast. I'm Brokey. He's Flem. We have a really very, very, very good episode today. I'm very interested to see what Fleming's going to say. We're a couple days after the Leafs lost out of the playoffs. But before we get to that, guys, I want to tell you right away who our guest is. Our guest today from Germany, that's where he was taping from and where he lives currently, is none other than the Chocolate Rocket, and I mean that in a very, very good way, which you'll hear about on the podcast, Nathan Robinson, who honestly, growing up, was one of my, if not my favorite Belleville Bulls. But before we get to that, I want to tell you guys about July 8th. What's going on July 8th, Fleming? It's the second annual Celebrity Golf Classic. You've probably heard our stuff on the radio, but we've got Doug Gilmore and Wendell Clark headlining it, plus a pile of other amazing pros. Get in, guys. We only have a limited number of spots available. Every team will play with a celebrity. The top 5 groups get to pick their celebrity. Whoever sells the most amount of raffle tickets, which the raffle tickets, top 10 Fleming's telling me here. We moved it to top 10 now. That's how many good celebrities we have. This is going to be an amazing event, guys. But whoever sells the most raffle tickets gets to pick in that order. And guess what? The top 5 guys, the top 5 groups, I should say, not only do you get to golf with an amazing celeb, you get to play 3 holes as well with Wendell Clark. So that means if you sell the most tickets for this, you can pick Doug Gilmore. You get to play 18 holes with him, and 3 of those holes will also be with Wendell Clark. Tell me that isn't going to be one of the best days ever, right, Flem? Anyways, buddy, get a hold of us. PayItForwardSports.ca. You can get a hold of us on Facebook. Get into this tournament, whether you play with those guys or not, because obviously only a certain amount of people get to play with them. We're going to have some amazing celebs. You'll get to meet them on the golf course. You get to meet them afterwards at our dinner, our party. We're going to have a lot of hockey talk. It's going to be like a live podcast for at least an hour with all hockey stories. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait. And anyways, I'm going to take it to you, Flem.
Yeah, for sure. So, lots going on in the world of Pay It Forward Sports right now, guys. So first of all, we had our Kings of 4-on-4. It wrapped up last Sunday, I believe. We had the team that won the East and the team that won the West meet in Napanee, I believe, last weekend. And the Sly Foxes ended up taking the Kings of 4-on-4, a trip to Vegas. The boys are off early September. I believe they're going to Bally's Resort. So that should be a great trip for the Sly Foxes. And then just yesterday, May 13th, we had our championship golf, where it is a cut line scramble event. There was a competitive championship and an intermediate championship, 2 big trips on the line. The winner of the competitive was Jaeger Prot. They birdied 18 to shoot a -16 on the day, and they chose to go to fabulous Las Vegas. And then the winner of the intermediate side was Dan Collins and Troy Coltman. Danny sunk a pretty long birdie putt on 18, probably 15, 20 feet to seal it for them. So they are going to Myrtle Beach. So just like we say, guys, Pay It Forward Sports gives out the best prizes anywhere in Ontario, anywhere in Canada. If you want to come to premium events, feels like a pro, check us out, PayItForwardSports.ca.
How about that, Flem? I mean, this is the first time we had ran the tournament this way. It was the 4th time we'd actually ran this tournament, guys, in a little over 26, 27 months that we've been around as a company. But 4th time we've ran this event. We switched it up this time. We used to do the winning team wins your trip and then a random team. And we thought, we're going to switch it up. And we did the cut line, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. We had a lot of good feedback. Now, how it worked, in case you guys don't know, how it worked, it doesn't matter if you sign up for competitive or intermediate. Everybody starts the same. If you're -4, -3, -2, -1, and so on, or worse, we'll say, you go into the, after 9 holes, you go into the intermediate, and that's what you play for. And then if you're -5, -6, -7, -8, or better, let's say, after 9 holes, you go into the competitive. So it was kind of interesting because there was some strategy, and we knew this was going to happen. I mean, they can do what they want. I know there was one group that was -5 through 8, and they bogeyed 9, I think on purpose, to try and go to the intermediate. Well, guess what? They finished the day on -6, so they weren't, I don't even know if they were top 3 in the intermediate. So just how it goes, right? The winning team ended up being -4 through 9 holes, which I think there was 4 teams maybe that were sitting at -4. So it was a battle. So congratulations to the team that won the intermediate. It was really cool. There was another team in second in that division, -8. And then of course the competitive, where the top 3 teams actually get prizes. The first team, they won. I watched a lot of their day, and I'm telling you, these guys were unreal. Some of the best golfers I've seen, and I've never been to a professional event, but I mean, non-professional golfers. They were awesome, man. They middle of fairway, 300, 350 yards out, it seemed, every time. And then they're putting like 3 within 15, 10 feet every time. So they were fun to watch. I know the other group that played with them, because we play 4-on-4 in this event, really enjoyed it. They were like, holy, this is awesome, just watching these guys. And like you said, they birdied 18 to go -16, right? So 16, fabulous event. And then do you want to say the second and third? Because second place was Jamal's team, right?
That was so second place was Justin Evans. He was the captain of the team. Okay. They shot a -15 on the day. And then third place was a team captained by Jake Locke. They birdied, I believe they birdied 18 to get to -14. So a really good showing by them. -14. That's a hell of a round in a scramble at Trillium Woods from the Golds through 18 holes. So great round by them. And all 3 of those teams won a very good prize, including and then the intermediate team, obviously at -9. They won the secondary trip. So a great day all around, Brokey. Thanks to Trillium Wood, all our staff. I thought it turned out great. I love the cut line scramble, and we're looking forward to another a big event starting July 8th, buddy.
Yeah, July 8th. I cannot wait for this. We wish Nate was going to be there. He unfortunately will not, because he's in Germany, unless he changes his plans, which I have been talking to him since the podcast, because we taped last week or a few days ago, and he's loving it. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, I'm about 99.99999% there's going to be a number 2 for Nate. He's already, I haven't really told you this much, Flem, but he's been messaging me a bunch of times since, and he's like, oh, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this. And I said, don't worry, buddy. We love the first episode. We know the second's going to be even better, but here's the first one, guys. You want to go ahead with it, or do you want to talk about your Leafs real quickly? Let's talk about your Leafs for 5 seconds, because we have to, Fleming. We
can skip that. I know we have to. I know we have to, buddy. So
the Toronto Maple Leafs finally get it done. We haven't been on here in a while, so just the Toronto Maple Leafs finally get it done. 19 years, they haven't won a playoff series. They did it. It's funny, though, just to go back to that, was because I thought Tampa Bay outplayed them for the majority of the series, and Toronto won, where last year they outplayed Tampa Bay for majority of the series, and Tampa Bay won. So it's funny how hockey works. And then, of course, Florida series, maybe just do a quick breakdown, then we'll get to Nate.
Yeah, so, I haven't had much time to, sit and stew on it, because obviously it happened when it happened? Friday night, Brokey? And then
Friday night was
all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had golf all day Saturday. And shout out to Belleville boy Nick Cousins on putting away the overtime winner. That's a pretty cool thing. Maybe another guy comes to celebrity golf event, and maybe he's bringing a Stanley Cup with him. Who knows, Brokey? But shout out. I believe he scored the first goal in that series too, and the final. Isn't that? I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. So cool. Good on Nate, or good on Nicky. Having the season of his life. He is best season so far. So good on him. But back to Toronto. Yeah. So I haven't had much time to process, because golf was yesterday, so that's like an all-day event for us, and we were completely wiped. But just kind of sitting down, thinking about today. I'm obviously super disappointed. I've been full-blown fired Dubas for this will be the 3rd year in a row I think I've called for it, maybe even the 4th. Obviously, the team's not built to get over that hump. I don't know. They got over Tampa, but I think overall what you saw is a team just not willing to do what it took. Look, the playoffs are a different animal than the regular season, and let's face it, there aren't a lot of penalties called. So you can get away with more, and the Leafs just didn't seem to want to do what Tampa Bay was willing to do. Kind of on that goal, I think it was in game 3 or game 4 or game 3 by Verhaeghe. I mean, all you have to do is really kind of interfere with him. The ref's not calling a penalty. He didn't bring his whistle out for overtime. I'd almost guarantee it. So just edge him off, like take him out. You can interfere with guys, you can hook guys. The Leafs just weren't willing to do it. And, no, I'm not even saying the reffing's bad. Although I will say one thing, Brokey. I rewatched the final goal. There's no way it should have counted. Gudas should have obviously gotten a penalty for hooking and then grabbing the sticky Yarncroc on coming back. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't think the Leafs were willing to do what it was. And they had that mental breakdown in game 2. Coming out of the second period, they had that bad 1 minute, 9 seconds, letting 2 goals. They could have been coming back from Florida tied 2-2, but they had that lapse. So, I mean, that's the way the playoff goes, buddy. I mean, it's a shitty thing. I do think, they got over that hump of the first round, which is good. But, I mean, I just don't think it's good enough. I mean, I think heads kind of have to roll. I'm just not sure they can do it this year. I just doesn't feel like the time for me to do this to go just because of the Matthews situation. It's the whole roster construction is going to play off what Matthews decides to do on his next deal. So he can either sign a new contract July 1 or his full no trade or no move kicks in. So that's kind of the deadline day where you see what's going to happen with the Leafs. Are they going to keep Matthews? Are they going to trade him? Are they going to let him play in his last year, which was a horrible idea? And just see where it goes. So I think the whole fate of the team is kind of on pause until the Matthews situation is decided. You can't bring a new GM in when you're trying to sign your superstar player going into the final year of his deal. So I think it's going to be status quo for a little bit, Leafs fan, until the Matthews situation plays out. And that's kind of how it's going to be. That's my thoughts on the situation.
Yeah, I just want to go back to the penalties there. It is tough because do you know what overtime's like in the playoffs? Usually nothing's called. And that's one point I want to make.
Even the whole series.
This happened
there was no penalties the whole series.
Yeah, but one thing I just want to make on the NHL playoffs, and I think most people that play hockey and watch it like we do understand the different style and the different type and how it's, there's way less penalties in playoffs, especially overtime. Your part-time hockey fans don't get it, right? There's just more on the line. The one thing that really drives me nuts, and this is really kind of off topic, but I hate the over the glass. Somebody had, who was it? One of the series.
So stupid.
They got it.
Brody had it in overtime, game 5.
No, but that's not. It was New Jersey, I think. I think this is how they lost out. They took an over the glass, and Carolina scored, and I think that won them the series. I could be wrong on that, but it was overtime anyways. To me, get rid of that fucking penalty because it's one of those things that you have to call. So you could sit there and not call 7 slashes and hooks and whatever else and cheap shots and whatever else. Let both teams play. One guy flips it over the glass backs and gotta call it. I hate that. If you're going to let them, you know what I mean? And it's one of those things you can't not call it. I get it because the rule's there. It's because it's so obvious, but so is that other stuff. I hate that rule. I wish they just take it out. But anyways, to go on with that, the Gudas thing, I'll have to watch it again. The hook, maybe. The other part, like the holding the stick, that's hard for a ref to see the call. I don't know whether he was in good enough position. Sure. Was he? You know what I mean? Like it happened so quick. I'm not saying it wasn't a penalty. I'm just saying the game happened so fast. And I mean, I think at the end of the day, and I've said this for 4 years now, Toronto doesn't have the type of players they need. They got to trade one of those 4 big guys. I'm sick of saying it because the same fucking results happen every single time. So all you Leaf fans that say don't trade them, guess what? You're going to keep saying the same thing year and year and year. Look at what happened to Calgary. They got rid of Tkachuk, and look at how good he was. He's up for the Hart this year, and look at him in the playoffs. He's one of the best players in the playoffs. One of the best. I didn't say he's the best, but he's one of the best players through the season as well. We thought, and I thought this for sure. I thought Florida got fleeced on that trade. I'm like, this trade's awful. Now looking, I'm going, holy shit! They fleeced Calgary. One player, the other 2 didn't show up, and then of course you got Bennett. Calgary didn't even want Bennett. Calgary didn't even get him in their lineup. And when he was playing 4th line minutes, 6 minutes a game. And look at the guy. He's playing unbelievable playoff hockey. And that's what it takes to win. And Toronto doesn't have enough guys. Their star players will not go outside of what they're supposed to do. They won't do it. They're not that type of player. And I'm not saying that that's bad. You got to have guys with skill and all that. What I'm saying is you can't have 4 guys that play the same way. You got to get somebody else in there that will get you maybe less points, but will bring you to the battle more. Get in the battle more, if that makes any sense. Anyways.
That makes perfect sense. It's for sure. I mean, so it's not bad to have Matthews and Marner and Tavares and Nylander out there, but I mean, you can't have Calle Yarncroc and Alex Kerfoot flanking their wings because they're the same type of player. You need a little bit of grit. You need someone that's going to go get the puck, right? And it's just, you're right, it all comes down to roster construction, right? They don't have the money to go out and get that guy. I kind of said this year Josh Anderson would be a guy to look at for them. Obviously, it didn't happen. I don't remember this, but on the podcast. And I think last year I said the Leafs should go get Sam Bennett right now for a second-round pick.
I actually think I remember you saying that. And look at the guy.
Yeah.
Like,
he'd
unbelievable.
He'd fill that Kadri role perfectly. He'd fill that Kadri role, third line, grit, you know. Sam Bennett was the best center.
He's playing on their second line in Florida, but I mean, that's arguably their first line. Like, with Tkachuk and Cuzzy, isn't it? But it's unreal. Just on one note, though, I'm going to put it as a business perspective, because I'm a small business owner. But let's pretend I own MLSE. Okay, if I see what's happened the last 7 years, I think it is, as a business owner, I'm done with it. It's fucking done. The Shannon plan has failed. I don't care about Matthews' contract right now. I'm sitting there going, how many times can I give you? Shanny, gone. Dubas, gone.
Oh, yeah.
Heath, gone. That's literally what I would do. And I'm not doing it. I'm not saying that to knock Toronto. I'm just saying it is you can't keep doing the same thing and expect the different results, guys. It's not going to happen. You need somebody else in there that has a little bit different way of doing things, because what they're doing is not working, period. Anyways.
No, I'm full stop. I completely agree, for sure. I'm not even sure they need to trade one of the four. I think it's one of the big three. Like, I don't think Nylander makes enough anymore. Like, he makes under $7 million a year. Like,
yeah, but he's got 1 year left and he's going to make 10 mil.
Oh yeah, I think Nylander. I'd almost guarantee Nylander just finishes this year out and then he walks. Like, that's kind of what they're playing.
You know, he's going to go for the money. We know that, but to be honest, he fucking deserves it. He played good hockey.
40 goals. I mean, man. He played great. This year.
For the season and stuff I'm talking about. Yeah. So, anyways, you want to get to Nate? We'll see what happens the next couple months, guys. It's going to be interesting to see. I just want to say this, and I think I said this early on in the year, but I smell a Leafs Sens playoff series coming up in the next couple of years. I really do. I think it's going to happen. And we got $1,000 says Sens make the playoffs next year.
We're usually good stadium now. I know what's $1,000. What is it? 400 or?
Oh, 400. I'm in on that. Anyways, one of my honestly, this guy I think was probably my most favorite Belleville Bulls growing up. You know what we were like. He was in our heyday. He was part of the '99 Cup team as a 17-year-old rookie, though. Played 3 more years after that. Had 110 points in his 20-year-old season. Led the OHL that year in scoring. Was absolutely phenomenal to watch. When he was bursting down the wing, there wasn't a butt in the seat because it was like watching McDavid. McDavid going down the ice. Honestly, that's what it was like a little over 20 years ago in Belleville. Great guy. Great sense of humor. I can't wait to have him on again. But just so much fun. And honestly, I wish he played in the NHL 10, 15, 20 years later, because he'd probably be a top 6 guy, a first liner maybe nowadays, just the way the game's changed. But one of the best goals to ever do it, Nathan Robinson. Enjoy.
All right, guys. Today we are joined by a Belleville Bulls legend. He was drafted in the 5th round by the Bulls and would go on to become an OHL champion, an OHL and CHL first-team All-Star, and he would lead the OHL in scoring in his final year in the league. He was signed as a free agent by the Detroit Red Wings and going to enjoy a 20-year pro hockey career in the NHL, AHL, and Europe. He's a 3-time champion of the German League and one of the most electrifying players to ever play for the Belleville Bulls. Ladies and gentlemen, Nate Robinson.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Thank you. Wow.
Thanks for coming on, buddy. We're excited for this one. I know growing up, we both had season tickets. We're birthday 88, so we're probably, 7 years younger than you, I think.
Oh, so, man, we have to do the math on that.
Yeah. When you were kind of in your prime and everything, that was probably when we were probably our biggest Bulls fans, Flem? So I definitely remember a lot of the years, and we've had a pile of your teammates on as well. So it's awesome to have you, and I know we got lots to talk about and lots of fun to go on about. So thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So, Nate, kind of coming into Belleville here, we're looking at your hockey DD. I see you played a couple years for the Voyageurs, but so coming into the OHL, like, were you expecting to get drafted? Was Belleville on your radar, or how did that process kind of play out for you coming into the OHL?
Wow, what a start. I grew up watching Belleville Bulls and, of course, the OHL. And when I played my Tier 2 seasons in Kingston, for the Voyageurs, I was between going to school and, of course, the Ontario Hockey League, and of course, obviously everybody's dream is to play in the show and the NHL, and it's been my boyhood dream like everybody else. So obviously the OHL was the fast option for me. And I had so many schools that were chasing me down, actually, which is kind of funny because looking back on that, I still have those those packages, Bowling Green and Princeton, and I got Harvard, and
Wow.
I was just like, I remember taking that to my parents, and they're like, "You don't need. What are you going to Harvard for? You can't even get through high school." But I remember since watching as a little boy the Belleville and the Kingston Frontenacs rivalry, and I was like, you know what, it'd be cool to if I get drafted to play for Belleville one day, and that would be a pretty cool thing. If I was going to play in the OHL, I'd love to play for Belleville.
So where were you born? Like, were you born in Kingston, or were you from around here?
I was born in Scarborough, actually, like
Okay.
Scarborough, and like seemed like the hotbed of hockey, and Toronto, right? That kind of hub. So I was born there, and then I moved to Kingston. My parents moved to Kingston when I was, I believe I was 2 years old, and they got jobs in Kingston. They wanted to raise me, also, I think, in a good area, and I was born in a kind of I forget the name of the street, but it was pretty dangerous at that time in the early '80s in Scarborough, and they just wanted me to have a good upbringing and be around. Kingston was a growing city, so and it's really kind of countryside, I guess, compared to Scarborough at the time. So.
Well, growing up or starting with the Voyagers, you would have been 15 years old, eh? Or actually 14, I guess, because you have a late birthday.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because you're a smaller guy, especially in that era. It's not like Tier 2 now. We go to the Tier 2 games now, and you're lucky to see a scrap. Back then, there would have been a lot more, dirty plays and fights and all that. So what was it like? Was it intimidating, basically being 14, turning 15, playing in that league?
You know what? Like I look back on that, and I don't know how I got through that because yeah, that's right. It's a good point you say there, and like now the game has changed so much, and it's become a little bit more. Obviously, it's more skill and a lot more softer. The not just players but humans. I mean, this is more softer now these days. So I think I remember like trying out and. I remember seeing guys coming into the locker room with beards and like jacked, and I was just kind of like, okay, I just wasn't thinking about that so much, but I was just like, just skate as fast as you can and play hard, and you'll be fine. But if anyone fucks with you, you're gonna have to take them and prove yourself. So I remember my first game, I played against the Trenton Sting, and in Kingston, and that was my first exhibition game. And a couple of the Sting players were chasing me around. It's pretty good. And I remember I had a helmet that was too big for me, and I was bobbling on my head, like with the visors. My first year to Bantam, and it was just bobbling on my head, and I had like dreadlocks, and I remember I got hit hard, and the helmet goes flying off, and I got up, and I played the puck anyways, and I went in and scored. Like the referee didn't blow the puck down. But I was like, it was a big shock, and I think, and after that hit, and then I realized, you know what, if I can get through this hit and score a goal, no helmet on, but then it's okay. Then I can get through the season. So, but looking back on it, I see 14-year-olds now I train in Europe, and I'm just like, wow, like I don't know how I did that, like really.
Yeah,
and then you end up playing an extra year there too, right?
That's right, exactly. 97, 98. Jay McClement was there too, I think. He played a long time in the OHL, NHL, had success. And that was 16, 17 years old, I believe. That's right. And then after that, was the next step.
Yeah, so coming into your first camp, I mean, it seems like you're ready for the physical play of the OHL, but what was it like coming in to see like grown men, like kind of like Papineau, Chichu, Ryan Reddy? And then can you also settle like a long-lasting debate here in Belleville? Who won the fight between you and Renzi in scrimmage?
Wow. That's right. Oh yeah, that's true. I remember that. Yeah. I don't honestly remember. I he's just remember how wiry he was, and yeah, Renz, Renz. I think that was the first and the last one we had, but I don't remember honestly. Maybe he did. I don't know, but I couldn't imagine looking back on that. We're kind of the same kind of size, so that would have been a good one to watch, I guess. And I'm a little bit, maybe a little slightly heavier than him, but we were kind of the same in length, stature, and with height. But I mean, that probably brought our bond together right away. Actually, if we had that good scrap there at the beginning. But looking back on the more, I'm thinking about, yeah, it's definitely possible we had that.
And then that year, obviously, you guys had the R&R line, right? With
Right.
Noobs
Yeah.
as well. You guys are all rookies.
That's
and
right.
we're one great line, right? And obviously, was it 3 years later, the three of you, I know Noobs was on another team, dominated the league. But go back to that first year. What was it like, stepping into a team that ended up winning a championship, and you got guys like Reddy and Papineau and Chichu and Radi Boyevich, I think, was on that team. I mean, it must have been a rude awakening. I know you came from Tier 2, so you didn't come from
Yeah.
AAA. So you played the junior, but it's still got to be like, holy shit, these guys are men, and they can play hockey, on its
Yeah.
best.
That's so true. I mean, came in as a fifth rounder. Lou Crawford was also the coach, and that was just adding more to it. How hard it was to be in a full lineup with veterans, and not just veterans. I mean, these guys they're men, and they have like red beards, and they're like, some of them are farmers. Like, they're just strong guys and strong personalities, and then you have Lou Crawford. So then it was just like, okay, but I think I was just so naive. Like, looking back on it, dealing with all that, I was just like, love the game so much. I just love hockey, and I just always pretended I was in the NHL playing, and it's just like, just focused on that, and I wasn't thinking about intimidation of Reddy or Papineau, all those guys. I mean, I remember grew up playing against Papineau when I got called up, Major Bantam or minor Bantam or something. I played the Major Bantams or something like that, and summer hockey, and he was the big star in Ottawa. And I remember that. So I remember he played for West Ottawa or South Ottawa or something like that. They had like Ranger jerseys, but he was like the star, man, and like he was the big thing. So seeing him there was pretty cool. And then, but I mean, I don't know. You're just playing. You're young, and basically, I was just kind of like, okay, here it goes. And my first exhibition game, I was nervous. Chichu, I was on line with him, and I was just like, I just saw this guy score a hat trick on global game of the week, like last year. Remember the global game of the week?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was it was definitely eye opener at the beginning for sure. But being a fifth rounder, it was always, I had to fight for my spot, and there was like, Noobs is tough, and he was a first rounder. He had to prove himself too. And then there's Renzi at Policelli. It's just like, and I think there was some other player than me. So I had to fight for everything when I came to camp, and I knew that I had to, and I was ready.
I think the other rookie would have been Kelly Patton, but I think he might have been 18 at the time. But I know he was a rookie
older.
that year.
That's right. Kelly Patton. Yeah, he was good.
Now, what's because you brought his name up, and we haven't actually chatted about him a lot, but what was Chichu kind of like? Obviously coming in, and the guy could score at will. He scored, what was it, 5, Fleming, in the game 7, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
What was kind of he like to be around, maybe on the ice and off the ice as well?
Cheech was like, well, he was like a prankster, he kind of kept to himself, he did his own thing, he was, I mean, as far as off the ice, he was pretty collective guy off the ice. Like, he was smart. He picked and chose when to go out and when not to go out. I think he had a girlfriend at the time. And when he was like the last 2 years, and before he left. And yeah, he was just pretty calm and like so mature and professional. But like on the ice, I mean, obviously he was like a truck. Like, he wasn't like muscular or jacked or anything. He was just like natural, heavy and strong. And he did a lot of he's just a natural goal scorer, and obviously one of the best available I've ever had, and probably the OHL too, as a player. And I liked to be around that guy, and he was he played a lot of pranks on me as a rookie and everything. But he was behind a lot of them, I know for sure. And but at the end of the day, that was part of the whole idea of playing that team. It was like all those characters, but he was great. I like Cheech.
I got to ask about a prank. So you actually lived around the corner from me growing up, like literally probably 10 houses away,
I think you
over
told me
on
that.
Glendale.
Yeah.
Now, I remember there was one day, and I don't know if it was your rookie year or what, but you had mustard and ketchup all over your car, something like that.
Oh yeah,
Did that
yeah.
cheat you, or was that somebody else? Or
Oh man, I think it was just everybody. I don't know. I have pictures of that. Still, I took my billets. Fred and Evelyn took pictures of this, and I was just like, you don't have to do that. I'll never forget this. It's just like, and my billet was even like, stand beside the car, just take a picture. I'm like, what? Are you crazy? I'm like, okay, let's do it, because they're old lady, you can't say no to her. So I like stood behind. I was just so angry, right? And I had I saw the picture at home in a family's house, and I'm like this beside the Pathfinder, 1985 Pathfinder, covered with ketchup, like mayonnaise, even, I think. I don't know. Just everything was just gross. I'm standing like this, but that was definitely that was a team effort. And I was like in shock. I was just kind of like, I don't know how to act to this. I guess just go to the car wash, but then when you get to the rink, you're scowling at everybody in the room, right? You're just like, who did this? Like, who put all this time into this, and what did I do to them? And a lot of the time at this time, I was thinking this like, why are my clothes being hung up in the rafters? Why? I just like, there's a lot of question marks that I just didn't know how to. I think I was pretty mentally strong, but sometimes I just like, okay, this is exhausting. I have to like be at school, or I have to be at home for dinner, and my shit's like all over the place. My clothes after a practice, but there's all kinds of pranks like that. Like, it was kind of a normal thing.
well, look, you got one, Flum?
So were you ever involved in any pranks? Like, did you ever pull off a good one on anybody?
Oh man, that's a good question. I did some stupid stuff, but I always try to. I think I did a few things with Noobs and and Renzi. I think a few things, like we went to a couple of the veterans' house and did something to the car. I don't know, something like that. I don't remember, honestly, vaguely, but there was a few things, hit some shoes, but honestly, I was scared to do it on my own. So I was trying to kind of I watched Noobs and Renz, or Paul and Shelley. I get in a group with them, and I just kind of be like the fourth wheel and just kind of follow, if anything. But I was kind of like a little shy with that. But as time went on, I grew up a little more, especially the second year, and end of the first year, when I got comfortable a little bit, and then I started giving it back a little bit, but different way.
It's hard that first year, though, right? You're the rookie, and you got guys that have played there for 4 and 5 years. It's like, I don't want to piss them off even more, right? Or it might get worse.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, you have Moldaver, I think. Moldaver, Lawmaster came later, maybe. But like, of course, Reddy. But Reddy, I mean, Reddy was okay. He didn't have to actually say any much. He just was ready. It's just like, okay, you see the guy looks like a lumberjack. He just always took his teeth out. But I was just like, okay, this guy is who he is. I don't want to fucking disappoint him. He's our captain. So I try to stay clear of him. But like, I'm not like a lot of the guys were definitely pretty. Yeah, you don't want to mess with a lot of those guys. You just want to make your life easier and just play hockey and try to keep that out as much as possible.
Now, you brought his name up, so I want to say it. Lou Crawford, the coach.
Yeah.
Did you have any battles, or how was that? Because I've heard he's a tough coach. Obviously, you guys got the job done as far as the OHL Championship, the only one in Belleville's history. But how was he as far as dealing with it with a rookie and whatnot?
I don't like to. I'm not a big guy holding grudges, but I think he from his perspective, I think comes from a hockey family, and old school, probably even away from the rink too. But I think at the rink as a coach at that generation, he had to do what he had to do, and to get the best of the players, and that's from what he learned that from old school hockey. And Floyd drafted me, and I believe, and he wanted me there, and he believed in me, and that's the reason why I stayed in Belleville. Actually, because Floyd did draft me, and I'm pretty loyal, and he, always kind of gave me these little talks, and when I've had a bad game or practice, he's always seems to be there waiting for me in a way to give me some little advices. It wasn't long, but I always try to keep that in mind. But playing for Lou was at that age, at that time, wasn't easy. When you already have to deal with pranks and you have to deal with being away from home for the first time, and new billets, and wish they were great, and adapting to OHL hockey at the same time, and also being a little smaller too at the time. I look back on it, I'm like, wow, I was a little guy, but I was mentally strong and I was able to cope with it, and I had a good family background, and my father was there every game. So other than that, I don't think I'd still be playing hockey, to be honest, if it wasn't for my family. And I would have stopped playing that one season for sure. I was trying to, and I was trying to get out of there, and I was probably hitting the Kingston on the 401 probably after every Sunday game, or Saturday game, and get home to see my family, and just to kind of get a fresh air and go back. But definitely I had a good support, or else it would have been tough to get through.
Now, when you just mentioned earlier that he would talk to you after, were you talking about Floyd or Lou?
No. So Floyd basically kind of was to kind of keep my spirits up a lot with my game and give me pointers. But so Lou Crawford, I don't come on here and getting all into negativity, but I think that the thing is he didn't say so much to the young guys, but because I think rookies are rookies, and that's the way it was. But sometimes it's not when you don't say anything, and sometimes a little bit of good feedback is always good for this. Doesn't matter what generation, but you look at all the coaches around the league at the time, Larry Mavety, Kilray, they were good with their young guys and young players, and they were balanced with everything. Gary Agnew from London, and then there's Lou Crawford that, I don't think he needed to be as hard as he was, because he had enough presence and to get the job done. And but I don't think that guy's ever said one word to me the whole season when I was there. I don't think not one thing, and not good or bad, or just sometimes I wouldn't understand certain things in the ice, and Boimstruck would be the one coming over or giving me a little bit of tips. But I don't think being there at that time, being coached under him, helped my development at all. If anything, it paused it. But what really helped my development there was probably mostly Boimstruck and the players and Floyd, the guys that were in the room, at the end of the day. So, but and my father.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, this is probably my last thing about Lou here. Was he like that with all rookies, or was it just you in particular? Was he kind of the same way with Noobs and Renzi, or and just kind of stuck with the older guys, or did you feel he was just kind of hard on you in general?
I kind of judged it through ice times and basically a little bit of I think Lou was pretty fair with everyone across the board, and he had his favorites, of course, but I think definitely a little bit different relationship to me than it would be to a little bit with Newberry. Newberry was a first round pick, and you have to kind of obviously they get first round picks have always got a little bit more rope, and but me and Renzi, I think we're kind of like the ones that were trying to prove to stay in the lineup, and I remember Renzi telling me one time, oh man, I think the whole year he doesn't even know my first name. He calls me motherfucker. He just calls me motherfucker. That's my name, motherfucker. So, but just like when you're walking in the hallway, you see him say hi to certain people and other guys, and he's never even said hi, or it's just like, I don't think he's ever looked me in the eye. Like, it was really weird, but it's just a weird looking. It's just a whole different thing, and
Vibe, eh?
it's just a terrible energy, bad vibe. And these days, you have to be a door open coach. You have to be a people's person to have success. You're not going to go anywhere. It doesn't matter what level of hockey, if you're not a people's person, forget it. You're not going to be a coach anymore. You got to be really, really care about people. You got to care about people and to be a successful coach now, which I think is the right way. And other than that, I mean, back then, coaches just treated some players like shit and like animals, and they have their reasons why. But that just goes. It kind of shows you in the end where they're coaching now or what happened to their career, and in the end, it's karma. And sometimes you don't go as far as they should have probably went, but the karma catches up.
Well, for sure, I think that's a good point. I think even in like our generation, like coaches kind of focus more on like the negative aspect of things, right? But trying to spin it to like something more positive here. So you were always like an electrifying player, like just crazy fast going down the wing. What was it like getting? So you, Newberry, and Renzi would always get huge pops from the crowd. What was it like, kind of feeling that energy, like when the crowd was cheering for you guys and you guys were kind of going off, running around on that fourth line? Like, I know your first year, kind of Renzi, Newberry, more the checkers, right, kind of thing, and you were the speed. So what was it like, kind of hearing the crowd, get up and make some noise for you guys on that line there?
Wow, that was a really cool. Like, the chemistry we had was so fun. It really was. Like, you got Renz, you got Noobsy. I mean, it just happened naturally how we formed that line. And I don't know if Lou knew what he was really doing with that. But I think that we just happened to come together and bond. We were kind of bonding all year, going out together and just chirp each other on the bus, like chirping the bar. Like, Noobs. Like, I just remember Noobs always having a lipper in, like, just like with his mullet, like, just guys. Anyways, what a beauty. And then Renz had like just Renzi. And we were different personalities, like I was a little more reserved, and looking back on that, I like to go to a game and go home. I go once in a while, but we were different people. But at the end of the day at the rink, we were going out and playing. We had each other's backs, and Noob sprung that like grit and that hard work and just like fearless competitor skill, and then like Renz was like similar to him with a little bit more like scoring touch, and then there's me. I just skate around, my head cut off like a chicken, and just fucking try to bring my own thing there, and do what I can, and to try to even us out, but we were tough too. Like we just, every time we got on the ice, we just like loved it. Like we're just like, it was like a treat, like let out the bloodhounds and start, you smell blood, and but it was a good time, really. Like, it's just so much fun playing with those guys.
The one thing I remember from your era, there's two guys from the Bulls eras that I remember this vibe. It's you and Richard Park, who would have played a few years before you. But when you got that puck and you guys are going down the wing, I'm telling you, I don't think there was a butt in the seat, because it's like everybody's like, something's happening. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's flying. And most of the times it did, especially, I know your first year, you guys were a fourth line, so you got limited minutes. But coming in like your last year, I think you had 110 points or something, which we'll get to in a minute. But I mean, I just remember that vibe. It was like, when you watch McDavid, he gets the puck and he's starting to go full speed. Everybody's like, something's happening, and that's what it felt like watching you. And I mean this the bottom of my heart. You're probably one of my top three, if not my favorite Bull from when from when I was a kid. So just that speed factor is the biggest thing I remember, and ton of fun, right? Yeah. And it's too bad that you didn't come into the NHL, 10 or 15 years later, because you might be like a Johnny Gaudreau kind of thing, right?
Well, thank you very much. There's a lot of good players in the Belleville uniform. I mean, like, I remember watching Park also, and Cleary and like Park coming down the wing, 77 with the right-handed shot, and very spastic, like just so like much energy. I remember that. Brandon Convery was one of my favorites. But yeah, I think I'll tell you something that I tried to emulate my game from a few players in the NHL, like I looked up to growing up. So I was a big fan of Pavel Bure, and I watched him like over and over, even street hockey, rollerblade. I tried to emulate my skating from him, and I just love the way that guy played. And Pavel Bure has always been my mentor, like my kind of like like my thing to look for and look at how he plays. And I always like watching exciting players. Paul Kariya too at the time, Timo Solani. Like, I mean, it just makes sense. I'm not going to watch Lindros, you know. Like, I mean, it's just not that. It doesn't make sense, and for my game, so I couldn't emulate that. But that's was probably my bread and butter is skating, and even I wouldn't say stick handling wasn't so much. I felt like my stick handling got better later as I got mature in the pro, but at the time, my stick handling, I got away with my speed was enough at the time to make things happen. And then my feet caught up, or my hands caught up with my feet later. But I don't say I had the best hands at the time at all. And just my skating, like you said, it was helped me a lot on the big ice too.
Now that last year you played, it was you and Renzi, especially on that line. Was Staging on that line too? Was that the year, Fleming? Your last year?
Yeah, that's right. He was. That's right. Stage was there. Yeah.
And you guys tore it up. I think you had 110 points, and Renzi was over 100, I think, as well. And I think you might have led the OHL that year. So what was that like that year, going from playing for the V's for a couple of years, then a rookie in Belleville, and all of a sudden you're a 20-year-old and you're the cream of the crop of the league. You got to feel pretty special about that.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I think I was like, I always wanted to be like, the first 2 years I didn't play a lot. I feel like I didn't play as much as I could have if I played in a team like Mississauga Ice Dogs or Brampton Battalion, which I was like always looking at rookies or second-year players there that were getting all these points, and then NHL draft was coming. I'm just like, oh, I could be there, like doing a little more, you know. And on that selfish side, thinking about, okay, like this team Belleville is always like full, and I mean, it's just always some good players. I don't have a chance to get some good ice, and but Floyd again, it was Floyd was always there, always reminding me like you're gonna be overage here. We want to have you. We're gonna need you here, and trust me, you'll have your time. And you know, I stuck around, and he drafted me. He believed in me, and yeah, it was close to home, and that also was a big thing, home cooking. So yeah, like definitely that was a big reason why I stayed and played the way I did. And yeah, and the players around me, like Stajan, obviously Renzi. I mean, obviously these guys were, I thank them to this day, and if they're listening, thank you very much. You know, you guys helped me get to get better as a player, and especially Renzi. You know, we just knew each other where we were on the ice. It was great. It was good chemistry.
For sure. So can you kind of walk us through the when the year you win? I think it's 99, right? Can you kind of walk us through the playoff run that year? Like,
Yep.
you know, I don't remember if you played first round, but you guys get past Ottawa in the second round, where I think we're the favorites to win the league that year. They're hosting Memorial Cup. So just kind of walk us through that playoff run. Like, what do you remember of it? And yeah.
Okay. Like, well, the first round we had the hex stuff, like I remember the hex thing, and I remember when like the rink being packed every game, and it was just the atmosphere was so cool around the city, and just like a little NHL city, little NHL vibe. And this was like my first year of OHL playoffs, and I was just like, is it like this every year? Like, wow, man, this is cool. Like, and I just remember like Zena Konopka was my age and noobs, and or not my, maybe same age as me. Then they had Luke Sellers, young guys, and then they had like Dan Tessier, and then they had Talbot. They had like Kotek, the goalie, And then they had so many Mark Bell, and just like the list goes on over that team, man. There was just always like, and they always seemed to find a way to win. Like they weren't, I didn't feel like they were, once you like hit them enough and you're rough with them, they kind of back down. But I felt like they weren't always the better team most games we played them, actually. But it was always like a heartbreak power play. Their power play was always solid, and like they'd score almost automatically. And I was just like, oh man, we got to play those guys, like, you know. But we just showed up, like we were ready, and they host the World Cup that year. Maybe they didn't work. They knew they were hosting it, so they kind of just weren't as hungry as we were. We had to fight all rounds, and which I hate that format. But anyways, I remember like this was definitely, I think, a big round to get past these guys. And then after that was Oshawa, I think. And then after that, I don't remember who the last other team was at. Before London.
London.
Oh. London was after. London, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we had London, and then we had like in the final Rico Fata, and then you had John Erskine. And then you had to play in that friggin' small barn, the ice house. And that was intimidating rink to play in. Those fans were like, it was like a zoo. And you had I remember the Yardman Arena, then we had this arena, and it was just like two opposite style of hockey. And I just never forget, like, yeah, just talking about, I could talk about the off ice vibe, the energy in the city, and dyeing our hair red, which I hated doing, but you had to do it, right? Team player. And but after a while you get used to that, and guys just coming more closer together, and it was just a nice time. Yeah.
What do you remember about Game 7? Like, what are the nerves like coming into Game 7 of an OHL championship?
Game 7, I remember, a lot of nerves, and I was just like, okay, well, you know what? I want to play as much minutes as possible, but maybe at this game, it's 7-1. No, I'm just like, okay, we just we let the big boys take over now, right? We can bring this home. But I remember getting a few shifts out there, our line, and I think we had, I don't know if we scored or did something. I think we had a few chances, but I remember that like, especially the last 5 minutes when it was like 9-2 or something, right, or something like that. Yeah. Chiefs got 5 goals. Like, it's just like, okay, is this really happening now? This guy just scored 5 Genos in the OHL final, Game 7. Like, Jesus, like, just that was amazing. I never forget the place going crazy and looking behind and just seeing everyone so happy, and everyone was just it was the best feeling up to that point for my hockey career, to get that experience right away, makes up for not getting the ice time and that development that would help me individually. I think this whole championship team really kind of built me up for my future overall, and to look at it in a positive light. So yeah, it was crazy. Like, after we win, and everyone jumps on the ice, and champagne everywhere all of a sudden, nowhere. Didn't even have the helmet off. There's already champagne in my eye somehow. And just everyone hugging each other. There's so much love that just came out that you didn't even see that the whole season, right? It's just like you just see how guys were just like all of a sudden just like so much closer, even the coaching staff. And then after that, you go to the dressing room, and I mean, London Knights were like, they were just like stunned. They didn't know what they ran into there. Like Fata and Jay Legault, like Fata was flying around, just couldn't, we just shut him down. But we were just like, I don't know how it went 7 games at the time, because it was just so dominant that game. But anyways, going into the dressing room after the championship, and people coming in there, like from the other fans coming in there taking sticks and like taking shit from the room. Like I go and grab a beer, come back, and like I'm missing my gloves, and then I see someone rocking with my stick, and I'm just okay, whatever, I don't give a shit. Take it. And but that was a pretty cool feeling, and yeah, that was really nice. I never forget that day.
It's an awesome.
And you had a big party. Didn't you guys go to Bahamas after? Something like that, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, okay.
Give us a Bahama story here. I'm looking forward to this.
Oh yeah, the Bahamas. That was my first time on an airplane too.
yeah.
I was 16, 17, I think. 17. Looking back on it, like, oh my God, who takes a junior team, like 20 plus guys, young, like under 20 years old, single, to fucking Bahamas? Like, what do you think's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
But so we go there. I remember showing up at the airport in Pearson and with my Bahamas shirt, and like I'm like, this is gonna be special. I'm gonna go, like, I went shopping and I forget where I went to Walmart or something. I got like a Bahamas shirt. I'm gonna be the coolest one there at the airport. I show up like this vacation vibe. I show up, everybody else has this fucking same shirt, almost the same shirt, like a Hawaiian style. And I was like, this is great. And anyway, so I remember flying there, and then it's like all the guys on the plane, and just like we're having a lot of fun, and then we get there. I think we're there for a couple of days, and we had, I think maybe a couple of guys got arrested the first day. At least,
Oh, no.
I think
What guys?
I think Mellenbacher got in some trouble. I don't know. Like, we're down by the pool hanging out, and like just the Bahamas police coming and like taking some of the guys with we had like Doc Vont's great. Like he probably threw some cash out. Like, okay, we here, take some money, and like he didn't mean to. I can't really discuss what would happen, but anyways. But what do you expect when you have teenagers on the road like that, like in the Caribbean or whatever? I know, and
especially after winning a championship, right? Everybody's on cloud nine. They're the king of the world. Like,
oh, it's like a Stanley Cup, right? Like in the OHL Hockey League. Like, I don't think everybody had a sober face the whole time. And why would you? Like, why not? You got to enjoy that, right? You got to enjoy that, man. And yeah, it's right. It's like, I think I saw maybe only a couple of guys. I think I stayed in the room with Mark Chaplin, and I was 17 and he was like 21. I think just turned 21 or something. And he was like a man to me, and like he was just keep bringing back broads, and like I'm just like, okay, like I'm just like young guy, like, and I probably I think I was a virgin at the time still. So I'm just okay. I went boy left a man that way. Okay, so it was the time. I think that I don't think teams will do that anymore, and it's so professional now. It's so like you see the dressing rooms, you see like the players are just so dialed in, and there's more money to earn now. It's like more and more. Especially if you come out as even if you're drafted, you're a free agent, and you have a good season, you're gonna make some fucking good sheets, man. You're gonna do well, and you're gonna get a chance to play too, and the next level, a good chance. So kids don't take a chance anymore. They know what they have in front of them now, in the CHL, and the teams prepare them properly for the next level, really good, and invest into that too.
Well, I think two of the biggest reasons why you're not going to send 20 to 16-year-olds down there is the phone and social media. Back in the 1999,
that's right.
There's probably no phones, right? So no videos.
That's true.
You're going to get away with a little bit more. Where you got 20 guys by the pool having fun, doing whatever. Well, you got whoever else taking photos or whatever, right? So different errors for sure.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, no phones, man. No phones. Jesus, man, I can't imagine that. Like being on my phone, like on the bus trip to Ottawa, like maybe it would have been just a distraction. Like it's crazy, like how it is now and how it was before. And I miss that part of life. Like overall, it's definitely just raw living, man.
Yeah. So you end up playing a few games for the Detroit Red Wings. I actually remember watching a Coach's Corner and Don Cherry talking about you, and he had big praise for you. You got, I think, 5 games or something with Detroit the one year. What was your first game like? And that roster, we were looking at it today. That roster is insane. Like the amount of guys that are just all Hall of Famers or close to Hall of Famers are,
That's crazy, man.
What was it like going into that room thinking, holy, I just came from the OHL. Now I'm in,
Yeah. Oh, well, first, like, okay, well, let's go back just a little bit with that because okay, so I finished off my last season. I led the OHL in scoring, OHL in scoring. And I mean, I didn't have any offers actually. I didn't have nothing. I remember talking to Jim Holton and James Boyd at the barbecue from the Vons. They have every year. It's like a barbecue. It was really nice, families and stuff, and it was like even my agent, my agent and Mark Guy, Newport Sports, and they're like, yeah, have you heard anything? And I'm like, what? Like Jim Holton's like, no, have you? He's like, I was like, well, I think maybe there's one team that might take you for free agency tryout. Huh? I'm like, okay. What team is that? He's like, I think Minnesota. I'm like, all right, perfect. That's a good opportunity because like that's like at the time they were like a new franchise.
Yep.
So I was like, yeah, I'll take it. Of course, I want to get in there. And I wasn't drafted. I was small. I knew I had to do the same thing I did in the OHL coming up and fight for my spot. And I was prepared for that. I was hungry. So, but turned out that I got a call like a day after that. And Mark Guy from Newport Sports was like, look, you got an invitation to Detroit Red Wings camp coming up. So they just won the cup that year. I think they beat Carolina, right? So I remember watching that on TV. So, and I'm like, all right, go to Detroit, cool. And I'm gonna put my stuff in for school, and just in case. And I was prepared for that, but also I was thinking about Europe a lot, and from playing on the big ice too. I was kind of like, I always liked Europe somehow too. Like I remember watching a lot of the European, like even the World Championships and everything like this, Team Canada, and watching the big ice and like the wheel out there, But I was thinking like Switzerland and a lot of places. But anyways, rambling on here. So I went to the camp, okay, and I got a story here. Forget about the time I have a meeting, but we need more time here because there's a lot of stuff. So I flew from Kingston to Toronto, met up with Joel Ward, and then we flew from Toronto to Traverse City, to Detroit, and then to Traverse City. So it was like 3 or 4 stops before we got to the Traverse City camp, the Red Wings camp, and we were late. Okay, fucking late. Like, and we got to. I remember like talking to Joel. I'm like, holy shit, this does not look good, man. We're late, like, because our flight got delayed in Detroit to get the first practice. But first, we had to do like put our gear at the hotel or put our stuff at the hotel and take the bus to the thing and all this shit. And didn't have a chance to kind of just like enjoy the moment, take your time because the flight was delayed to Detroit to get there. And so anyways, so we arrive at the practice rink in Traverse City and we go to the back, and then there was like, of course, standing there, of course, you have these two black guys coming in to the back, me and Joel coming in late. You have like Jim Nill was there, Kenny Holland, and then I think Dominic Hassett was stretching. And I'm just like, okay. I just saw this guy on TV, like TSN, and it's just so weird. Like I was so nervous. Kenny Holland's just a little guy, so he didn't intimidate me that much. But Kenny Holland's Kenny Holland. So, but they were so nice and cool, and just like, okay, we heard about your flight and everything. Go get dressed. You have to get nice. No stretching, nothing. We had to do like battle drills and shit, and it's just like Yuri Fisher. Then you had Lidstrom. I get like literally just take your stuff off, put your stuff on fast because half the practice was done. So Joe and I go on the ice. I had a helmet again that was too big for me, and my head's too small, not nothing there. But go on the ice and like you have a practice jersey. It was 70, I think it was 38 at that time, and you go on the ice, and then Joel and I were kind of like looking at each other like good luck, and then go to our separate teams. just like I didn't even had a chance to take it in. You know, it was just like it happened so fast. You know, my first day there, and but I have to say that I did pretty good in the first day. I didn't pull a groin or anything, maybe because I was young and stupid, just naive. And I'd had one-on-one drill with Nicholas Lidstrom. I remember it was like the defenseman, Lidstrom starts on the hash mark, and I was in the corner. It was a classic one-on-one straight down. And I blew past him. Okay, I blew past him, and I really wanted to. Like I was just like, I'm gonna want to, just wanted to like send a message or whatever it was. Stupid, actually, when you think about it. So I went down the wing, blasted a shot. I didn't score, but like I hit the post or something like that. But it was like clearly I went past him, almost like kind of like looked like embarrassed, trying to embarrass him. I think looking back on that, and I remember Sean Avery looking at me like, "What the fuck are you thinking?" I'm like, what? What are you doing blowing past Lidstrom like that? You know what I mean? Kind of like, don't disrespect him. And I was like, wow. I was just like, I don't know what to say. I was like young, 20 years old. I'm like, well, I'm doing what I have to do. You know what I mean? But I remember like some of the guys, like Shanahan was even kind of coming to me and was like, you don't have to do that. It's just, we're all hungover, like we were golfing all all right. So yeah, looking at that, I think that was a pretty cool experience. And, it was just, everything happened so quickly. And, that, it was just, I was just having fun. It was just living a dream.
Now, you obviously did the rest of the camp though too, right? Like they didn't kick you out because you blew by a Lindstrom or anything.
No, I think it was just basically like he doesn't know what he's doing. Like I didn't know. Like, I mean, how am I supposed to know? Like the respect. Like there's like obviously like a medal or some kind of respect thing hockey players have, right? And as a Hall of Famer, he is and everything. It was okay. How am I? You just don't know. You don't know, but now you know. Even like years after, I'm like, I get it now. I get it. It was just I didn't get it. I didn't understand, but. Like then I lost the drill after that, and some guys just kind of go down but guys had their contracts. I didn't, so why would I give a fuck? And then continue the rest of the scrimmages. Darian Hatcher had the slowest feet, and I was like, okay, I gotta every time he's on the ice, I gotta go around him. I gotta go on his side. I was right with pick the guys that were the most hungover at the camp. And Dandino was always pretty bad. I think he was golfing always and I was just like, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna expose these guys. I don't give a fuck. Like I have nothing to lose, and I try to use my speed every time. And I had a good camp, and even they had this rookie camp too, and against St. Louis and Minnesota and Atlanta and everything. And I found that a lot more difficult. But with the veterans, they were just like. They just won the Cup, man, the year before. They didn't what the fuck. They had their millions of dollars, their contracts. Some of the guys were. Steve Eisenman had a bum knee at the time. Fedorov was just hanging out, cool, whatever. Played cards with him a lot, and it was just like a superstar status camp of so many Joseph Hall. It's crazy. I didn't think I had a chance. I just played and just tried to do the best, but in the end, I guess it worked out.
So what was it like playing in those few games with them though on their team there? Coming up and who did you play with? Like who's on your line?
Well,
you remember?
Okay, well, Jason Williams and Avery were there my first camp, and exhibition games. I was playing with Brett Hall, and I remember I played in the power play. Power play was with Datsuk, Brett Hall, Chelios, Lidstrom, and yeah, that was power play. And
Hall of Fame,
yeah, and then Nathan Robinson. I mean, it's just okay, but I didn't. It was. I was just I remember I went back. We did a double swing. And I went to pick the puck up from Chelios, and we're playing. It was my first exhibition game. We played Washington with Yager, Kip Miller, I think Defoe maybe at the time, or no, Kolzig.
Kolzig, yeah.
Onchar, like Ovi wasn't even in the league yet. But I think that was when I really like realized like, holy shit, I'm going in the corner first, pick the puck up, and then Datsy was ahead of me. And I'm like, obviously, I'm gonna give it to him. Not. I take the puck myself. I make a play or whatever, I deep around the guy, and then Datsuk was like, Nate. I'm like, oh fuck, okay, I guess I'll give it to him, you know. And then I give it to him, and he dangles 3 guys, and he goes in a scoring chance. I don't think he scored, but still, like, it was pretty cool. And then I was kind of quarterback in the power play on the wall type thing, and I was so nervous. Like, I was just like, it was just different game. Guys were always in position. It was just, you're not playing on the big ice surface anymore. Things happen quickly. Everybody had their job, and so like power play with those guys, and then in the 5-on-5 was with Jason Williams, and I think that Boyd Devereaux.
Boyd
Yeah,
Devereaux,
I remember him. Yeah.
Devereaux, yeah, and played with them. I played at Zetterberg a little bit, an exhibition game. And he was my roommate too. He was a good guy. But yeah, it was looking back, this like they really like pushed for me to give me an opportunity. And I think Kenny Holland and Jim Neal really believed in me, and it was just too many stars. But I had a small window there. And unfortunately there was a lockout year, and then I got hurt, and in the AHL All-Star game, pulled my groin. Probably the year I think Tampa Bay won it, and then Detroit lost to Calgary. I got called up as a black ace, but I couldn't play because I pulled my groin in the AHL All-Star game. It was just like, like there was a lot. That year I was an All-Star in the AHL when I got called up, and then the fastest skating competition, I pulled my groin. So that was like February, or the All-Star game was it was like end of January at the time, and then so the playoffs were coming, like the NHL. So I was just like, shit, like I was leading the Grand Rapids Griffins in scoring, and I was like right there, like I had a good season, and Dave Lewis really liked me, and Barry Smith, and the whole staff were happy with me, and I was just ready to. But then I had that groin pull that didn't help. I couldn't play when I got called up, and I think Eisenman got hurt, and I think Draper. So that was my opportunity to get in the lineup, but I just couldn't do it. And after that, and there's a lockout year next year, and then my contract was up, and then all of a sudden it's just like suitcase time. But but that was pretty much like, I looking back on that, I was like, holy shit, man, that was quite an experience, and to be playing, to have the opportunity to put a Red Wings jersey on, it was pretty cool, and especially, I mean. You guys probably have more questions, but it's just, you're getting me going back to like thinking about it. I never thought about it so much in a while, but got to play my first game officially in NHL in Toronto. My first NHL game was.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So did your parents get to come and see the game too?
They did, of course. It was expensive. I had a lot of people come, of course, being from Toronto, Scarborough. I think, you never know where you're going to play again, in Toronto, so you got to make it the most. But I remember that I didn't have enough on my card. So Kirk Maltby helped me out with the tickets, and I paid him later, but that was pretty nice of him. And I think I had 8 people come to that game. And I vaguely remember, I think I still have some video from that, actually. My mom made a video tape, the VHS. I almost scored. I think that suited me up, and Belfour was in net, and went off his shoulder or something, deflected it. But Daryl Bootland was my line mate at the time, and me, Bootland, and Jason Williams. And it was like, on the other side, I think you had Pat Quinn, and then you had Belfour in net, and you had like Sundin and Roberts and Tucker, Domi, and
Was Stajan been with them at the time?
Stajan was that's right. Stajan was
so.
there.
Yeah, they had a really good team as well, because we had him on, and I remember going through that roster, not as good as your Detroit one, but going, holy shit, you got a lot of good players on this team.
Yeah, right. It was like Marchman was on that team too. Like, God bless him. I know he passed away so long ago.
Yep.
And but like, yeah, man. But it was a intimidating team too. Like, just like they're tough guys, on that team too. But um, looking back on that, man, it's just like the hockey is so slow. Like, it's like
Yeah.
it was like I felt like I could have done a lot more and make the most of my shifts a bit more. That I played pretty safe. I just wanted to stay up as long as I could, and I didn't take any risks, And looking back, I wish I would have. I mean, who knows what would have happened? Because at the end of the day, whatever, to be at that level, I was really lucky, and I was only there because I was there at hard work. But I mean, I was like, buddy, and I was like, yeah, it's good. Huh? It's my little boy here.
You want to say
Little
hi?
boy. Yeah, say hi, everybody in Bell Vegas.
Hey, buddy.
Buddy,
Okay.
How old is
Yeah.
he?
He's gonna be 3 and week and 2 weeks, week and a half, actually.
Oh.
No, week and a half. 16th of May.
Oh, hey, buddy. I got a 3-year-old
Yeah.
just turned 3 in April. A boy.
Oh, cool.
Right around the same age.
It's a fun age, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got lots of energy.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
for
see.
sure.
I think he's going to be a football player. I don't know, but he's a very active boy, and he loves to climb things like all boys do, and he's a really smart kid actually too. Actually, not like his
Maybe a
father.
running back, eh? He'll have the speed like you, but on feet.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Whatever he does, as long as he does it well, and he's I don't care what he would do. I just as long as he does it right and he has fun doing it. And I try to bring him to the rink right now a little bit and put on the skates, and he seems to love it. And he's a very natural sports kid. Just no fear. He'll run to the wall if he asks him to. But his mother also was pretty good at sports too, and she's pretty like naturally. She always beat me at tennis somehow, but I think it's in his blood.
Oh, yeah. He's an athlete. He's a born athlete, eh?
Absolutely,
For sure.
Yep, for sure. But
One guy I got to ask you something about is born in Belleville, probably hasn't been back since, but is Brett Hull. What was he like? Because we've heard he's quite the character. Like, is he just, hey, I'll just probably one of the most skilled guys to ever score. I mean, one of them anyways, right? Top 5
Brett,
anyways.
Yeah.
What was it like just seeing that guy in action? You hear so many things.
He was one of my favorites, of course, when I was there. And Bobby Hall, I met many times because he's got the obviously to Dr. Vaughn, the late Dr. Vaughn. He was good friends with him, and he was always around at the games and at the barbecues, and I met him quite often. So I kind of had an idea of what maybe obviously the bloodline there with Brett, and maybe Brett knew of me a little bit too, because when I was in Detroit, he was always pretty like come with me and go for dinner and everything like that with the guys, and he always invite me, and he was nice and like I mean, I think okay, not every veteran was like that because Brett Hall established himself. He's Brett Hall. He had his money. I don't think at the time Chris Draper would be friendly to me because I was a young, fast player coming up. And I didn't, I think maybe he's worried about taking his job. I don't know, that kind of stuff. And a lot of players kind of like older guys were like that. But Brett Hall was really a nice guy. And he's very smart. I think he really witty in the room. I just kind of sit in the back and just listen to the jokes. And he was always doing like these puzzles. He would be in the room in the split stretch position. I sat next to him in Joe Louis Arena when I got called up, and he would just sit there with his flip flops on and with his puzzle and just do this. Like I don't like that. He wouldn't do any warm up. He'd just do that and put his shit on and go on the ice, right? And he was really at the end of it though. Like he was fat, like out of shape, but he had big legs and everything. You could see like how he was before, but he was just like at the point where just like he'd tell Pavel, like, Pavel, you know where I am? Tap the stick, you know where I am? Like, there's just like a joke, man. Like these guys are just like, there's like a country club that year. Like these guys were just enjoying their cup and their post cup hangover. And he was in the middle of it. And he called me, it was Darren McCarty. Darren McCarty was also on the team too. What a shit. Oh my God. And they called me the Chocolate Rocket. And then I'm like, where do you get chocolate rocket from? Because they were calling me that in Belleville. Like the guys were calling me that a couple years before, like the year before I left. Chocolate rocket. I think Silverstone, Paymont, and they came up with that. And then I think that just got out, and McCarty called me Chocolate Rocket. I was like, "How do you know that?" He's like, "Oh, I know. What? My wife's from Belleville, And I hear a little bit, and Brett Hall heard of it, and he's like, "Chocolate Rocket." Every time I come in the room, Chocolate Rocket. But he was loved by everybody, man. That guy was just such a nice, good energy, good vibe, and just I didn't love Brett Hall, man. Like,
Yeah. So we were actually going to ask you about that nickname, but I'm glad you brought it up first because Renzi had brought it up. And we're like, was that real? We didn't know if Renzi was making things up, but that's hilarious to think that it got its way all the way to Detroit. And you got Brett Hall, one of the greatest, calling you that.
Yeah.
So, definitely a compliment for sure, right? Because, the speed you had is definitely awesome.
It's like one of those things, like it's okay, I can understand, like, okay, you don't want to say it because Chocolate Rocket could be a racial kind of thing, but I don't look at it that way. I think, it depends on who's taking or who's you're talking to about it, but I think it's a compliment. I think it's cool. I think it got a ring to it, and it makes sense. I like to skate, and I like to skate fast, and I am black, and I'm dark, so it's like, okay, it goes together, and it's never meant to hurt me. It's just a nice ring off the tongue. So it's funny how it spread like that, and then people are thinking of me of that way, and you take the positive out of things. You try to take the positive out of everything with that. So yeah,
pretty cool. Time for a couple more here, or you got to run?
No, one more, Flem, and that's it.
One more. Okay. I got one. I love to ask guys this. So give me one point during your career where it doesn't matter if it's in Belleville or when you're playing pro, and you did something cool and you thought, I'm the fucking man right now.
Oh man,
going around Nick Lindstrom.
Yeah, at the time, that's maybe I felt pretty good there, but I think for me, I think I had like a little bit. I think maybe when the scoring race was special because of just I think maybe. You're on this name as Gretzky's on the same Eddie Powers thing on the trophy, right? And yeah, and I think and the company that I'm on the trophy with that is really special, and that was a really pretty cool experience I wanted to light the league up, but I didn't expect to win the league in scoring, I didn't expect to at all. I just kind of just love scoring goals and enjoyed it, and being electrifying and entertaining the crowd and everything. But I think they're extra. I couldn't do it without Renzi and Stage. And those guys were very cool, and they supported me. And to get to that point, I couldn't, obviously it's a team sport, and I couldn't have achieved that on my own. And I think that's probably one of the best times with individual possibly achievements for me.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks a lot for coming on today. We know you got to run, but you gave us a lot of time here. We really appreciate it. You're broadcasting all the way from Germany, right?
That's right. I'm in Halle, Germany. It's maybe about an hour and a half from Berlin. And then maybe 2 hours from Prague, Czech Republic. And then, so I've finished off my last team here in Europe. Actually kind of retired maybe 3 years ago. Officially, I played in the fifth player coach in the fifth league.
Reggie Dunlop.
I just kind of played. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was like this, starting the breakout and then finishing the break, and then going in the room and then talking about the breakout. But yeah, man, it was it's been a good stretch of hockey for me. I feel like I still play, to be honest, but everyone says that maybe. But it's been a ball. And 20 years, I never thought I'd still be playing 20 years hockey, but you know, if you love the game long enough and you stay healthy and you have the right people around you, and that's then you can definitely do most things for a long time, I guess.
Well, that's definitely something to be proud of. So thanks again for coming on. Maybe
Thanks for having me,
sometime in
guys.
the near future, we'll do a part 2 with your Europe story, right? So thanks again. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
You know what? It was great. Thank you very much. And guys, I really appreciate it. It was nice reminiscing. And we can do the Europe thing if you like. And maybe we'll have more time for that. It's definitely, I mean, I got stories coming out like it's just crazy. It's good. It's almost like therapy, letting it out in a way.
yeah.
But there's going to be a whole nother chapter of this side of the pond. So for sure, we'll keep in touch.
Awesome. Thanks a lot again. Take
Thanks a
care.
lot, buddy.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
We'll talk to you soon. Thank
Cheers.
you. Bye.
Hey guys, welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed that interview with Nathan Robinson. I know I sure did, and I cannot wait until 2.0 with him, which we will do within the next year anyways, probably the start of the next hockey season. Just one last thing, guys. July 8th, the Celebrity Golf Classic, brought to you by Monument Geomatics. Thank you, guys. They are the main sponsor. And it's the Celebrity Golf Tournament with Wendell Clark, Doug Gilmore, Brad May, Krushelinski. Help me out,
Aaron
Flem.
McCarty, Rick Vive, Andre Waugh, David Silverstone, Justin Papineau, Chris Newberry, Sean McMorrow. The boys are coming together, and it's going to be the party of the year in Belleville, July 8th.